Imagine two people, same age, same job, same salary. One of them has $100,000 saved, the other has $10,000. Now here's the part that most people miss. The person with $100,000 isn't just 10 times better off. They're operating in a completely different financial universe. And no, this isn't about rich parents or lucky breaks. This is about a specific moment in wealth building, a tipping point, that most people never even know exists. And once you understand it, the way you think about saving money will never be the same again. So let's talk about why your first $100,000 is the hardest money you'll ever make, and also the most important. Here's how most people think about saving money. You earn a paycheck, you pay your bills. Maybe you put a little aside at the end of the month, if there's anything left. And you imagine that building wealth is just a slow, steady, straight line upward. Save a little, wait a long time, end up with something decent. That sounds reasonable, but it's wrong, because wealth doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows in a curve, a slow, almost invisible curve at first, and then suddenly, it starts bending upward in a way that feels almost unfair. Most people give up before they reach that bend. They look at their savings account after 2 years of discipline and think, this is barely moving, what's the point? And that's the trap, because they're measuring the wrong thing at the wrong time. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner and one of the greatest investors of all time, once said that the first $100,000 is the hardest. He didn't say the first million. He didn't say the first 10 million. He specifically pointed to $100,000. Why? What's so special about that number? Let's break this down with a simple example. Say you've managed to save $1,000. You invest it and earn a 10% return in a year. That's $100 in gains. Nice, but not exactly life-changing. Now imagine you have $10,000. Same 10% return. That's $1,000 getting better. Now you have $100,000. Same 10% return. That's $10,000 in 1 year without you doing anything extra. That $10,000 didn't require more hours at work. It didn't require a side hustle or a promotion. Your money just made money while you slept, while you ate lunch, while you watched TV. This is what people mean when they talk about compound interest. But most explanations make it sound boring. So let's make it real. Think of your money like a snowball rolling down a hill. When the snowball is tiny, it barely picks up any extra snow as it rolls. It grows slowly. Painfully slowly, you're watching it roll and thinking, this is useless. Nothing is happening. But here's the thing, it is happening. The snowball is getting slightly bigger, and as it gets bigger, it picks up more snow per rotation. And as it picks up more snow, it gets even bigger faster, and then, at a certain point, the snowball is so large that it's collecting snow at an almost alarming rate. Your first $100,000 is the point where the snowball finally becomes large enough to start feeding itself. Before that threshold, you are the engine. You are manually adding to the snowball by working, saving, and contributing. Every single dollar has to come from you. After that threshold, the money itself starts doing the heavy lifting. It becomes a second engine running alongside you, quietly, consistently, every single day. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part most finance videos skip. It's not just about math, it's about psychology. There's something that happens to a person when they hit $100,000. That goes beyond the numbers. It changes how they feel about money. And feelings, whether we like it or not, drive almost every financial decision we make. Before $100,000, saving money feels like sacrifice. Every dollar you put away is a dollar you can't spend on something you want right now. It feels like you're choosing a vague future benefit over a very real, very enjoyable present experience. That's a hard trade to make. Every single month for years, but something shifts when the balance gets large enough to feel significant. You start to see your money as a system rather than just a number. You stop seeing your investment account as a savings jar and start seeing it as a machine, one that produces more money on its own. And once you start thinking like that, your behavior changes. You stop being as tempted to dip into it. You become more patient, more strategic. Because you're no longer just saving, you're protecting and feeding a machine that works for you. There's also a concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. Every time we spend money, our brain registers a small emotional sting. That's why paying in cash feels worse than swiping a card. hard. That's why subscriptions feel cheaper than one-time purchases. But here's the flip side. Every time we see our savings grow, our brain releases a small reward. And the larger the balance, the larger that reward, the more motivated we are to keep going. In other words, wealth building has a feedback loop. And the first $100,000 is what makes that feedback loop strong enough to actually feel good. Before that point, the rewards are too small and too slow to keep most people motivated. After that point, momentum becomes your most powerful tool. Let's put some actual numbers to this so you can feel the difference in your gut. Say you start with zero and save $500 a month. That's a solid, disciplined effort for most people. In a year, you've got $6,000. In 2 years, $12,000. Feels slow, right? Now let's say you keep going. By year 4, you're approaching $25,000. By year 7 or 8, with a 7 to 8% average annual return from a simple index fund, you cross $50,000, and then something starts to happen. The returns from your investments start to approach your monthly contributions. The money you're making on your money is catching up to the money you're physically putting in. By the time you cross $100,000, your investment returns in a good year could be $7,000 to $10,000, more than your monthly contributions. The machine is now running almost as hard as you are. From that point forward, the trajectory is completely different, not because you changed anything, not because you started earning more, just because the base is finally large enough for compounding to become a real, visible force in your life. From $100,000 to $200,000 is dramatically faster than from $0 to $100,000. And $200,000 to $400,000 is faster still. The snowball keeps accelerating as long as you don't stop it. So if $100,000 is so powerful, why don't more people reach it? 3 reasons. The first is impatience. People see tiny early gains and decide it's not working. They either stop saving or they move their money chasing something faster. Crypto, a hot stock tip, a friend's guaranteed business opportunity, and in doing so, they reset the snowball back to zero, back to the bottom of the hill. The second is lifestyle inflation. Every time income goes up, spending goes up too. You get a raise, great, but suddenly you need a nicer car, a bigger apartment, better vacations. The extra money never makes it to the savings account. It evaporates into a slightly fancier version of your current life. The third is the absence of a concrete target. Save more money is not a goal, it's a wish. But reach $100,000 invested as fast as possible, that's a mission. And missions activate a different part of your psychology. They give you something to chase, something to feel proud of when you're close, something to protect when you're almost there. So what do you actually do with this? First, define $100,000 as your primary financial mission right now, not retirement, not a beach house, not passive income. Just $100,000 invested. That's the goal. Everything else comes after. Second, automate your savings before you can feel the pain of paying. Set up automatic transfers to your investment account the day your paycheck hits. Don't give your brain the chance to argue against it. Make saving the default and spending whatever's left the choice. Third, invest in boring, diversified index funds, not individual stocks, not crypto, not whatever's trending on social media this week. A simple, low-cost index fund that tracks the broad market is the vehicle that gets you to $100,000 without gambling your progress away. Fourth, protect the snowball. This is critical. Avoid the temptation to dip into your investment account for vacations, emergencies, or opportunities that sound exciting. Build a separate emergency fund for life's unexpected costs. The investment account is for one thing, growing until it feeds itself. And fifth, accept that the early years will feel frustratingly slow. That feeling is normal. That feeling is universal. Everyone who has ever reached $100,000 went through it. The ones who succeeded didn't find a shortcut. They just refused to quit during the boring part. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The first $100,000 isn't just a number. It's a test. It's the universe asking you, are you patient enough? Are you consistent enough? Do you believe in a payoff you can't yet see? Most people fail that test, not because they lack intelligence, not because they don't make enough money, but because nobody ever told them that the first $100,000 is supposed to feel hard, that the returns are supposed to feel invisible feel at first that the compounding is happening even when you can't feel it. You're not building wealth in a straight line, you're building a snowball at the top of a very long hill. And right now, in the early stages, all you're doing is packing snow. It doesn't feel like much. It doesn't look like much, but keep packing because there's a moment, a specific, unmistakable moment, when the snowball gets heavy enough to start moving on its own. And when it does, nothing is the same. Your first $100,000 isn't the destination. It's the moment the journey finally starts to feel worth it.